this is Esther from Estersaromas, and today's topic is on sleep hygiene. These modified podcasts are all associated with exams and to help the students and the parents alike. So I just introduced Donna, and she can speak a little bit about sleep hygiene. Hi, Donna.
Hi, Esther. Sleep is a difficulty that people have around this exam time period. They're worried about the exams or worried about their information or what the exams will be like. So sleep can often be difficult around these time periods, and often parents are talking about the fact that their teenager can't get to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing with a sleep hygiene program is it's important to look at the environment the person is sleeping in.
Mm-hmm.
So setting up a routine around sleep is really important, even for your teenager. So going back to when your teenager was a small child and you set up a routine around sleep,
Mm-hmm.
this is quite similar in that you start telling yourself at a specific time that it's the right time to go to sleep. It's very often the best time to get to sleep is before 12. So if you try and get into bed before 12, and even if you have problems getting to sleep, it's important to get up before 10 in the morning. So, I mean, that won't work during school time in any case because somebody will be up anyway, but over the weekends and stuff like that. So to establish the routine properly. In terms of the bedroom, it's important that there's a lot of air gets into the room and it's not overly heated. Overly heated bedrooms aren't useful for people getting to sleep. Very often, the room could be like how hotel rooms are set up. Hotel rooms are set up for sleep because at the end of the day, a hotel only has skeleton staff in the evening and they can't really have all their guests up and about and walking around the hotel looking for food and drinks and various things in their lives. So the rooms themselves are set up around sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
In that they have nothing near the head. There's no technology near the head because it's important to keep it away from the head. So even the television are often mounted on the wall away from the bed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's completely away from the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's actually ideal not to have TVs in the bedroom if you can, but if you don't, then to cover them
Mm-hmm.
and to turn them off. Because even that standby light that can come on and off sometimes could encourage you to stay awake.
Yeah, you're better off, I suppose, as well. With hotels and stuff, you have these, like, blackout blinds
Absolutely, yeah.
that completely take out the light out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do an awful lot on sleep as well for people, because I suppose there's an awful lot of people that contact me that say that they find it very difficult to actually get proper night's sleep, or that if they wake up at all, or if they're suffering from something, if they have issues to do with, if they have an injury or anything like this, they find it very hard to actually get their rest time. Like sleeping and resting, to me, I suppose, I would break it down ever so slightly. I would say that, like, for me, I would keep a routine that I would get a certain amount of hours sleep every single night, and I would keep this the same from weekdays to weekends. I would keep it exactly the same. So if I was to go to bed, say, for 10:30, I would have 7.5 hours sleep, and I would make sure that I actually get up at that time, even if it was on the weekends as well, which seems to be very early. But like majority of times I won't get to bed at 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about it is, I would say between 7 and 7.5 hours sleep. If you have that, and you make sure that your body has that, that's your clock. You will be able to start, like you'll be able to like jumpstart your routine every single day. But the quality that you get while you're actually asleep is paramount, and I do an awful lot on switching off time before bed. This is way before you even get into bed.
Yes, it's
So,
very important.
Yeah,
The
winding
routine.
down time and all this. like, I suppose, to be honest, they say that you shouldn't watch something that's really active on the telly or whatever. The thing with my sleep oil that I have is that you put it on a half an hour on your feet and onto the back of the neck before a half an hour before you go to bed. Because when you're sitting down, say, watching, like, I call it mindfulness telly, like in the last half an hour before you go to bed, because it's something that you don't have to concentrate on, and you have your sleep oil on, the oil is actually working away unknowns to yourself. It's working away through your system. The essential oils are actually working through your body while you're actually sitting down watching, say, a show that's like that you like to watch, but doesn't take concentration. And then you go off to bed, and you should be able to get into a cool room.
Yes.
With that the bed is at, it's not cold, but it's actually warm, that you would be able to actually just fall off to sleep.
Yes.
And I don't bring my phone to bed. I don't have, like, I have an alarm clock, which I absolutely hate, in the room, but like I would have a very minimal room area. There's no clutter. There's like the bed, the wardrobe. There's nothing,
Yes,
you know.
and that's exactly right, is to have no clutter around the bed.
Yeah.
Because the mind is searching, and of course the mind is already stressed from this constant input of different things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's to give the mind nothing to track whilst you're in bed. So it's like it's not letting anything undone. So it's to keep the mobile phones out of the bed. Now, obviously, if you're in shared accommodation, it may not necessarily be possible. So it's to leave it at the very end of the bed so that it's nowhere near your head. And the battery alarm clocks are probably the best ones.
Yeah.
Because they just eliminate a beeping sound, and they're not affecting you while you're sleeping. But it's to ensure also that when you then get into bed, it can take between 7 to 11 minutes to actually get to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of people. Some people will actually go to sleep immediately. But it's to ensure that you're just... 11 minutes is quite a long time in some ways to keep tossing and turning and tossing and turning. And some people will find their mind wakes up as soon as they lie down. And it's to encourage yourself to tell yourself that these are thoughts. It's nighttime. There's nothing you can do about them.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing you can action now. It's now time for you to rest. And yes, the chances are you will sleep, but if you don't sleep, then that's okay too, rather than fighting it. Some people get into bed and go, oh, I'm not going to sleep now, and then they start thinking about not sleeping, and then they're keeping themselves awake. So if you accept the fact that, yes, do you know what, I mightn't get to sleep, that often will stop the mind fighting.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, because sometimes I think, to be honest, if you have something in your head and you feel that you can't rest,
use a notebook and a pen by the side of your bed sometimes,
and
just to
write
get
it
it out of
down.
your mind.
Get it out of your head.
Just get it out of your mind. It's like, oh God, where is that? You know, geography book,
or did
I
I do
lent
this,
it to somebody or whatever,
that?
and you can write it down. It gets it out of your head. A pencil and a notebook by the side of the bed.
Yeah.
It'll just get it out of your head.
Yeah.
So that you can actually then, it's already out of you and out of your head. The other thing to be aware of is sometimes people do sleep and they're not actually aware that they've slept because we don't remember sleeping.
Okay.
So, but what's happening to them is there's a cycle of sleep, which we won't go into the science of today, but the first phase that you go into is alpha, and then you drop down to the various levels. At one point you will experience REM, which is rapid eye movement, which is where you dream. There's a 45-minute cycle to go down and a 45-minute cycle to go up. But sometimes people will tell you that they're awake at 12, and then they're awake at 1:30, and then they're awake at 3 o'clock. And what's happening is their eyes are opening when they're in alpha. So when they're coming back up through the layers, their eyes are opening. They see their alarm clock. They think they haven't been to sleep at all.
Okay.
Check your eyes for sleepy dust.
Right.
So if you find that you have sleep around your eyes, then you have had sleep, even though you may think
Okay.
that you're awake for that hour and a half and
Yeah.
the next hour and a half. You may just be waking up in alpha.
Okay.
Babies do it as well. Sometimes if you watch babies, they're asleep and then their eyes are open but they're not awake.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, it's not unusual to see this happening.
Yeah.
But what happens to you is that you think you haven't slept at all.
I think another
that's
thing
very
that,
upsetting.
with people that they find very upsetting is that when something happens or there's something that kicks into place and you feel that you can't sleep, and then by the time it actually comes around to going to bed, you're going, oh my God. And like my whole thing is to retrain the brain.
Yeah.
Retrain the brain in a way that isn't stressful to you, but it'll actually help you to switch off.
Very good.
We could talk forever and ever on
Yeah,
this. But,
on sleep, yeah.
so that's on sleep, Donna. On the next modified podcast, we're going to leave it open at the moment because there's a few different areas that you said are most beneficial to students and parents alike. So thanks a million for this. I hope this is
Okay.
helpful to people. And yeah, we'll wait for the next one. Thanks
Great.
a million.
Thanks very much. Take care.